welcome back to Chin Music. We have LaVelle E. Neal III in Fort Myers, seeing things with his own eyes, hearing things with his own ears. Let's check in with him here on Chin Music, our baseball show at TalkNorth.com. This is TalkNorth.com. We're coming to you from the Aquarius Home Services Studio, and we're presented to you by OnX Maps. Usual lineups: Roy Smalley, LaVelle E. Neal III, and me, Jim Souhan from the Star Tribune and TalkNorth.com. We're going to take advantage of the fact that LaVelle is in the press box in Fort Myers to get a first-person view of what's happening down there. So just start off wherever you like, LaVelle. What's grabbing you down there?
Oh, well, I just had a really great conversation with Pablo Lopez when I was watching the press box. For some reason, Pablo's sitting here. So, so we chatted it up for about 20 minutes, and it's been like 2+ weeks since his surgery. And tomorrow, which would be Wednesday the 11th, he will be allowed to sweat for the first time since the surgery. And then next week, he'll be able to start doing some cardio work. So he says he's fortunate that he had the experience in 2017 with his regular Tommy John. So he remembers a lot from that experience. But he says today with the internal brace procedure, because they repaired his ACL, and they did an internal brace where they wrap another ligament around it to strengthen that area. It says it extends your rehab by another 3 to 4 weeks, but on the back end, your arm is alive for months and years afterwards. So, it's a positive for him. And I was like, because he still has a huge contraption on his arm right now, just one of those full-time brace that goes from his wrist up to his shoulder. It just looks like he's a bionic man, like Will Smith in that one movie when he had the one bionic arm. That's what Pablo looks like right now. And he said, I said, yeah, those things can alter your life. And you're right-handed, right? So you have to do everything left-handed. And he says, well, this may be TMI, but after my first Tommy John surgery, I just wipe my butt left-handed all the time. So that's the stuff he's going through right now. They just finished up some batting practice here today. So it looks like that's winding down right now. And of course, they cut 9 players yesterday. And I got to tell you, Jim, I'd rather see Gabriel Gonzalez and Emmanuel Rodriguez at the dish rather than Trevor Larnach and maybe some of these other hitters there, James Outman, and maybe some of these other guys in camp. Because these guys look like they can wail. Gonzalez probably has a body built for a Monday night bowling league, but he makes hard contact. And he got a nice pitch to drive in the 9th inning yesterday in Northport against the Braves, and just punished it halfway up the left field seats, or halfway up the left field berm. And Emmanuel Rodriguez just takes so good at bats. He just refuses to swing at anything that's a ball. And, you know how things are. You're probably going to have different rosters at the beginning of the year. The guys who are out of options often make teams more so than the most talented player. But I'm looking forward to mid-season when Rodriguez and Gonzalez and Walker Jenkins are probably ready to be called up to make their major league debut. So I keep thinking about what this roster is going to look like at midseason more so in opening day. If it's wrong for me to do that, tell me why.
No, I think that's the deal. I mean, listen, we didn't know if they're going to contend with a healthy Pablo Lopez. Now you take the ace, maybe the most important player off the field before he even throws one pitch. Listen, I was talking to a baseball fan, in my neighborhood the other day, and he was saying, I'm going to be positive because I want to enjoy baseball. I want to, and if you want to be positive, what you can say is whatever the record looks like, you will get a look at some really intriguing young players. Now, we live in a very impatient society. I understand that. I understand the frustration with the pull ads. I will not defend the pull ads. But right. You and I have covered a lot of bad baseball. The cool thing about bad baseball is you get your first look at Justin Morneau. You get your first look at Joe Mauer. Well, Joe Mauer came up when they were good. Never mind about him. You get your first look at Torrey Hunter. Torrey Hunter came up when Torrey Hunter first came up. This place was hopeless. But you got to watch Torrey Hunter run into the center field wall, make incredible catches, and then it turned into something. So I'm really intrigued by Jenkins, Rodriguez, Gonzalez. I'm really intrigued by Keishel. I'm really intrigued to see if Royce Lewis can turn around, whether Matt Wallner can take productive at bats. I'm not going to make any promises about the record, but there will be really intriguing people on the field at some point this year.
Yeah, there will be. There will be. And yes, I'm looking forward to see Keishel hopefully get a full season under his belt. I watched him hit yesterday. I think you compared his swing to Dan Gladden's. I see a little Michael Kadire in it. I just like he's got the ability to drive the ball, man. And I think you're going to see him batting among the top 2 or 3 spots in the order. Royce, I talked to Royce for a column later on, and sounds like he's in a really good headspace coming into this season. I was able to drill down on his body during the off season, and Shelty coming over to visit him helped. But he sounds like he's just in the right frame of mind to get after things. And as I reminded him, he's just 26 years old, So, and this is about the time when things come together. And it's not out of the realm of possibility they can come together for him this year. And actually, it would actually be him revisiting 2-3 years ago when he had like a 920 OPS. So it's in him. I just think he's in the right frame of mind. He's learned a lot. So I got to give him, looking forward to seeing him. But I can't wait to see some of these guys. The entire St. Paul outfield, it's going to be intriguing down there. Last year we were salivating over all the pitching they had down there. This year it's going to be like that outfield and still pitching because Kendrick Ross is going to be there. Mick Abel, if he doesn't make the opening day roster, he has not walked anybody in 10 innings. And that was like his issue coming over from Philadelphia. He's looked really sharp. Does this translate right away? Let me ask you this for your opinion on this one. When a hitter has a good spring training, is that easier to translate into the regular season than when a pitcher has a good spring training? Or
I think hitting in spring training is irrelevant. If it has any relevance, it's a young guy getting to take at-bats against veteran major league pitchers and at least getting a feel for what it looks like. But I think, I always go back to what Michael Kadire used to say. He'd say, I can't hit in spring training because I don't have any adrenaline in spring training. I know this is all meaningless. I just have to I just need to have 2 weeks toward the end of spring where my swing feels good. And so I've always kind of gone off that. You can have a great spring and a terrible season, vice versa. Pitching, I think you can see pitch mix. You can see velocity. You can see how hitters react to their stuff. And for a young pitcher, if you're trying to make a team, how you pitch in spring training can matter. Abel pitching well matters, and Zebby having a terrible outing might matter.
Right. And Zebby started yesterday, and he was awful in the first inning. And he's his own worst enemy because he admitted when we were talking to him that, once he gave up a couple of hits or something else will happen, that he would start trying to throw that perfect pitch. What's the code word for trying to throw a perfect pitch? Nibble. Mm-hmm. So instead of just throwing his strikes with conviction, he started nibbling and he got in more trouble. Now, I will say this. Royce, there was about 6 inches away from getting out of that inning. Royce Lewis made a terrific play coming in on a chopper and got off a fantastic throw to first base, and the runner beat it out just by a hair, or he would have been out of the inning. But then the next 4 batters got on base, and it wasn't like he was giving home runs. So like single. I think it was like 4 singles and a double in that first inning. How often is that going to happen in a major league game? I mean, although it needs to happen for the Twins this year for them to survive. But Zebby came back out after you get that relief reliever that comes in and finishes out the inning. Then you could go back in, and he was fine after that. He threw strikes with conviction. He got ahead of hitters. It's funny. I was just talking to Pablo, and he was talking about the benefit of, if you want to get more strikeouts, you got to be able to get guys to chase. And Zebby's got to figure out that he's got to find that silver line, that little balance there between needing to throw strikes with conviction and also trying to get guys to chase to put them away. So, you're just watching a guy going through the learning process here, but the talent is undeniable. But I'm curious to see how this rotation is going to shake out, man, because it's just at goal time right now. Okay. Bailey Ober made his first outing of the year. He was 91, 92, but he just wanted to get through that first time facing opposing hitters because he's been throwing in simulated games. Joe Ryan's going to make his first start since tweaking his back tomorrow here. And so now you got Ober, now you got Ryan in the mix. Now you got your guys. You got the guys who are going to be the anchors of this rotation getting in sync here for the regular season. So now you kind of see how things look. What would be the rotation? Well, let's save that question for a second. I'm going to ask LaVelle what would be the rotation if they open the season today. First, we want to remind you we're coming to you from the Aquarius
Home Services Studio.
When your furnace, air conditioner, or thermostat isn't working right, you need a local team you can trust. Whether your home won't heat up, won't cool down, or your air quality is a concern, your home comfort team at Aquarius Home Services finds the problem fast and fixes it right. And you get $98 off any furnace or AC repair when you book with Aquarius today. Aquarius Home Services. One call, problem solved. Earning the right to be recommended. Schedule today at AquariusHomeservices.com.
Also want to remind you we have great shows across the network. Russo on hockey, Krasinski on the Timberwolves, Mark Rosen's show, Don Mitchell's show, Chin Music with Roy and LaVelle, Jeff Diamond's NFL Insider with the former Vikings general manager, Alec Lewis on the Vikings, the Viking Update Show with John Krasinski and myself. Check it all out. And we're also wanted to let you know we're presented to you by Onyx Maps. The weather is warming up. That means it's time to put your augers away and it's time to grab the boat. Let Onyx Fish help you find the next best bite. The Fish app offers the most comprehensive fishing tool for increasing your success. Use the Fish app to find new places to fish and sort lakes by species, abundance, trophy, and keeper potential. Onyx Fish also shows you hot spots, lake by lake regulations, and public and private land ownership information. Download Onyx Fish on the App Store or go to onyxmaps.com/fish to get more information about the app that is changing the game. All right. So what would the rotation be if the season started today?
Well, it'd be Joe Ryan. I will put Bailey Ober there. I think he could. I was talking to Shelty about this 2 days ago. They think they can get him out of camp at 75 pitches, which means that he's good enough to start a game and get into the sixth inning. So to have those two, Sammy Woods Richardson, Taj Bradley, and as well as Mick Abel's pitched, I think I would start Zebby because Zebby's got a little more major league experience. But Mick would be like maybe first out of the gate if they needed something. So I would have Matthews, Woods, Richardson, Ober, Ryan, and Taj Bradley as my starting five.
Bradley,
at the
really?
beginning of the year.
Bradley
Yes,
had a.
I think I'm going to go with Taj. I know. Like I said, Abel, both Taj and Zebby's they have more major league experience in the beginning of the year. Like, as you pointed out, the hitters are going to be hunting for bears starting opening day. I think I would like to see Mick heat up at AAA for a month before he's needed, because the way things are going in baseball, he will be needed the first month of the regular season. But and then I also get the sense down here that the Twin staff is really rooting for Taj Bradley to take a spot in that rotation. Just because he's had some innings under his belt with the Rays, and I think he's made some strides with how he's pitching. I know his last outing wasn't that great. I think the one before that was really good. So, I'm sensing some positive vibes from them when they talk about Taj.
Interesting. All right. Any other arms intriguing you down there?
I saw Connor Prelup throw an inning the other day. The slider is the truth, as I saw 3 years ago in the backfields of Fort Myers. Their intention is to still build him out to be a starter, but they are doing that fully aware that he could end up being a reliever one day for them. But at this stage of his career, facing as many hitters, given his lack of innings as a minor leaguer, as many hitters as he could face is probably the better for him. So that's why they're going to keep him as a starter. They've done this before. They did this with J.C. Romero. They have Romero starting some games in AA and maybe some in AAA because they wanted him to face a lot of hitters, knowing fully well that his career in the majors is going to be as a reliever. And Prelup, who's added a curveball, so he's got this slider, curve, fastball that touches 96, 97 combination. And I think he also has a changeup. He gets a chance to kind of fine tune all those, but I still expect him to be a force coming out of the bullpen, maybe at some point this year, if not next year. So, but Rojas, we saw Rojas throw the other day, man. And there's varying descriptions of his off-speed pitches. Some guys think it's a changeup. Shelty calls him more of a slider because it's only like 6 or 8 miles difference off his fastball. But it looks like what Liriano threw when he first joined the Twins, to me. The fastball can go 96, and then the slider, change of pace pitch comes in like an 88. It's effective as hell. Now, he does get in trouble sometimes because he's got to learn the pinpoint precision. But when you see this guy's raw stuff, you see why the Twins asked for him in return as part of the package for Louis Varland. I'm still not happy that Varland's not here because he probably would be the closer and be a damn good one. But You see the potential in Rojas, and you see the bat in Alan Roden, and they got two guys that have a chance of being guys. So, but yeah, Prelip and Rojas, two lefties, have really popped out to me. Other than the guys we've been talking about a lot in camp.
Well, let's get into Roden because they played him in center field the other day. That to me is an indication that he has a chance of being a fourth outfielder or a moves outfielder. His profile is really interesting because he hits the ball hard, but he doesn't really elevate. He doesn't hit a lot of home runs yet, but sometimes line drive hitters do develop launch and power as they learn how to hit major league pitching. I mean, what's the ceiling on this guy? What's the upside in this guy?
I think he's one of those guys. I think as he gets some major league bats under his belt, that he can develop some power. I don't know if he's going to be like a 30 home run hitter, but he could be a 20 to 25 guy. He's not a shrimp. He's not like a tiny guy. Well, he's stocky. He's 5'11", 215, and there's guys with that body type who have hit 30 homers in the majors before. But you look at the minors. I mean, what else does he have to do in the minors? I mean, he's hit for average. He's hit his career average as a AAA player is 320 with a 917 OPS. All right. It's time. I mean, it's just time for him I'd take him over James Outman, but Outman's had options. So I'm curious to see how this is going to shake out. And I think Outman would be the guy who would be like the swing outfielder. He could like back up all three spots because he can play center. He's a good defensive player. Can he hit enough? The next question is, he's got to hit some because he could end up in a platoon situation a little bit as well. So he's got to be able to hit a little bit. I mean, he's had a good camp as well. But I've been intrigued by Roden. He has a kind of a funky or unorthodox swing, but he makes it work. And I just think this guy needs a shot. I can easily see Roden being in like a left field platoon with Austin Martin, or getting the mix to DH a little bit as well. But I gotta imagine. Oh, by the way, the more I see of Josh Bell, the more I'm thinking more DH than first base, man. His range at first base is not there. It's not. It's gonna be an issue. He is a barely average first baseman. And now you're looking at the Twins defense as a whole. Brooks Lee is not known for sterling glove work. He does have a good arm. His range is what holds him back. Royce is a great athlete. He's had the last two games I've seen him play. He's made excellent plays in both the games. And Shelty has recognized that. But you think about having Larnach in the outfield. He's not known for being a defensive guy. Wallner has a wonderful arm and right, but it's not like he's a great athlete out there. He's standing in the outfield at the past time before he's supposed to go to the plate and hit 40 homers. So Austin Martin can run around a little bit. Some people think it's a stretch to play him in center, but Shelty may have to use him there a couple of times when Buxton needs a break. So defense is not going to be like a super strength of this Twins team.
No. If Bell is the DH, who plays most first base? Or is it that's just kind of a receptacle for the extra hitter in the lineup?
That's what I think. It will be a receptacle for like maybe for your boy Cody Clemens or someone else there. They seem to like Caratini a lot. Maybe he can play there a little bit as well. So the Wagman kid they got from the Marlins really hasn't impressed me much. So yeah, that's gonna. I don't see the Twins getting average first base production, which is not as. I looked at Major League average first baseman, just comparing each team in their first base production. The Twins weren't that far away from average, which kind of surprised me. Part
of that was Ty France getting off to a pretty good start last year, and Clemens had Clemens had a productive year.
He did. Clemens deserves to be in a mix here. Clemens is, to me. He's got to start at least 3, maybe 4 games. You can figure out a way using him at first, second, DH, maybe in the outfield. Oh, by the way, they threw Keisha in left field the other day. I saw that. Yeah, that's interesting too. That's for flexibility purposes. So, talking to Shelty yesterday, he was like, "I'm just at the point now where I got to start drilling down on the shape of the roster and the shape of the bullpen. Right now he's just watching guys get at bats and get innings in. But he said starting at the end of this week and beginning of this next week, he's got to start putting a game plan together based on what he's already seen. So we're headed into the part of spring training where it may be worth paying more attention to if you're a Twins fan wanting to figure out which way this roster is going to go.
Yeah, I think too many people look at spring training stats where you really learn something is seeing how the manager uses people, where he tries people out, trying to figure out how they can contribute to the roster. I'm going to make.
Hey, man, I remember all these years we used to get fixated on what the batting order is going to be going into camp. I learned from TK. The last week of games, all of a sudden, bam, Todd Walker's leading off. I was like, what? Okay, this has to happen all spring. And that ended up being going into the regular season. So I've learned that last week of games, I think the World Baseball Classic will be over by then. Teams will be back to full streak. You'll start seeing the A lineup those last 3 or 4 games. At least the beginning of that week, maybe by like that Friday or Saturday before camp breaks, you may see them kind of pare down. But that last full week, just focusing on what the batting order is looking. Now you get an idea what it's going to be during the regular season.
Right. So, as you told me the other day, about 20 years since Kirby Puckett died, and that was 10 years, and he died 10 years after he woke up. I was at spring training, and he woke up blind in one eye last day of spring training. I will say a couple things. First of all, you were talking about who Luke Keishel's swing reminds you of. I think Keishel has Puckett's swing without the leg kick. Really short to the ball, hits the heck out of it. When Puckett was a young player, he was not a home run hitter. He developed some bulk and power as he went. Just hits line drives everywhere, aggressive early in the count. I think that's what he reminds me of. The other thing is that I did a column where I talked to Patrick Royce. We kind of reminisced about what it was like covering Puck, which was an absolute blast.
That's a great column, by the way. That was a great column.
And one I left out for space issues, as Patrick reminded me, I think Patrick and I went to Winter Haven for the first road game of a spring training one year, which means it's February. It's not even that hot out. Crappy ballpark, crappy infield. Puckett first bat up. And listen, spring training is generally for players to kind of work their way into baseball shape, right? First at bat of the spring, Puckett hits a routine ground ball to short and beats it out. So that means, what do we know from that story? Number one, Puck went on the long road trip. Hardly any star players go on road trips anymore. Puckett went on the long, ugly road trip from Fort Myers to Winter Haven, which takes a long time to play on a crappy field. And then he busted his ass out of the batter's box to beat out a ground ball in a meaningless game. That was one of the great things about Puckett, is he never shortchanged the game.
No. And I think that's one of Tom Kelly's tenets about playing the game that really is personified by how Puck approached things. Of course, Puck's other approach probably was bust my ass for 3 innings so TK could take me out so I could sit on a bench and mess with people for the next 6 innings.
Yes.
But what's wrong with that? But that also gave you a glimpse that when the chips were down, when the lights were the brightest, that he was going to bring it. And as we know, no one brought it like Puck. There's not been a performance in a World Series game other than Game 6 that Puck pulled off with the catch and the big homer. And he's when you talk about people you want in the trenches with you, Puck should be at the top of everybody's list.
He is the most beloved Minnesota athlete of all time. And I had this exchange with an emailer too. Harmon Killebrew was a better player. I mean, you hit however many home runs he hit as a right-handed hitter. Not even in a live ball era. You just can't beat that. You can't beat his raw production. But Puck's the one who won championships. Puck's the one who came up big. Puck's the one and Harmon was a very nice human being as well, and very popular because of that. But in terms of combination of championship performances, charisma, daily effort, ability to make everybody in the stands fall in love with him every game, there's just been nobody like Puck.
Yep. There was a toast to Puck down here on Friday, definitely. Good. So, well deserved. It was, because I was here covering the team when that happened. So I was left here with the people who didn't go on the road trip and just talking to them about what they're experiencing and just thinking about his career and like I said, I didn't get to know him as well as you guys did because he was done playing when I got to town. And I tried to have a good relationship for him, but by that time, his circle of trust had shrunk. Yes. And other than being a slightly husky guy from the South Side of Chicago, he really had nothing else in common. And so I kind of understood that.
All right, good stuff, LaVelle. I appreciate it. I'm going to be in Spain next week on a trip with my wife's school, so it'll be you and Roy, but I'm sure you'll have a great conversation for today. I appreciate everything you brought to the show today. For LaVelle E, Neal III, our producers at TalkNorth.com, I'm Jim Souhan, and the gentleman will talk to you again next week.